What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 233 of Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room, and to the members of the War Room family, welcome back. If you are new to Cocktails in the War Room, allow me to welcome you to the actual room in my house where the bar is, where all of my military memorabilia is from my family's military service and all the things that I brought back from my trips to Iraq and Afghanistan. And this is where we started meeting on March 14th of 2020 during the beginning of the pandemic. And what we did was we got together originally just to have a drink and kind of talk about how crazy the world was getting. It turned into 80 straight nights of us getting together to ride out the pandemic together. Then Cocktails in the War Room turned into a weekly show when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast in June of 2020. And so now every Tuesday night at 8:30, we get together to talk about music, to talk about what's going on in the world. So welcome to everybody that is joining me here in the War Room from wherever you are. And if this is your first time joining me here in the War Room, you got to let us know in the comments so that the War Room family can welcome you properly. And you got to let us know where you're watching from. So we got to say what's up to Kim, Elsa, Alexis is here, Thomas joining us. Let's see, Brianna, what's going on, weirdo? Donna is here. Brett is joining us. And Jonathan is too. And if you're new to the War Room, you're probably trying to figure out what's going on with the dog. Well, Wednesday is my co-host for all 233 episodes of Cocktails in the War Room. That's where you can find her on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. She's kind of like the Garth to my Wayne. She is, she's the co-host. She's here basically as long as I'm willing to bribe her with cookies. And then sometimes she comes back later on in the show if she gets mail in mail call. So Wednesday, say hi to everybody. Did you say hi? She gets her own camera too because, well, she's like that. Christine, what's going on? Hello, Keith. Are you wearing pants? Let's see. Carol is here. Jessica says Bad Wolves canceled upcoming tour dates due to DL's health concerns. Yeah, DL is not allowed to fly long distances, kind of the way that Des Fafara from Coal Chamber and Devil Driver is not allowed to fly long distances. I don't know what DL is battling right now. Obviously, you heard in episode 153 of the Mistress Carrie podcast when I talked to Des Fafara from Devil Driver and Coal Chamber that he's got long-standing issues from his pretty severe near-fatal battle with COVID. So DL, who, by the way, appears on a new single with the Mongolian folk metal band The Who, alongside Serge Tankian from System of a Down. However, the guys from Bad Wolves have pulled themselves off the road so DL can recover. William says, checking in here in New Mexico. What's going on, William? Bish is here, says, where are we meeting for the clerics or the Celtics funeral? Is that what you meant? Yeah, the Celtics game 4 in Miami. It just started a couple minutes ago, and the Celtics facing elimination tonight. The only thing that's making me feel any better is that the Lakers already got knocked out of the playoffs as well. So Donna says, the Ed to your Johnny, the peanut butter to my jelly, or we could say the fluff to my peanut butter as a New England reference as well. Betty says, Alex says, hiya Wednesday, love you, good evening. What's going on, Betty? What's up, Mickey? Mr. Minko joining us from Oregon. What's going on? Donna says, welcome to Tanya, who's joining us here in the War Room as well. So there are going to be some inside jokes on the show tonight. Hey, will you behave? Back up. There are going to be inside jokes. If you go to the blog at mistresscarrie.com, go to my blog post. You got to go all the way to the very first blog post. It's something that we call the dictionary. And it's basically a glossary and index of all of the inside jokes here in the War Room so that if you're new to the War Room family, you can get caught up because there are a lot of inside jokes that you're probably going to miss out on. We have gone through 233 episodes without you. So let's see. Foo Fighters has a new drummer. Jessica, we got to talk all about the Foo Fighters, who are getting ready to kick off their big North American tour at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion tomorrow night in Guilford, New Hampshire. And they did a live stream that was free on Veeps on Sunday afternoon. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it's still available. And the guys from the Foo Fighters basically did a tour rehearsal at their 606 studio. And what are you doing? And they filmed it in black and white, which I thought was really cool. There were guest appearances by Chad Smith, the drummer from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, and also Danny Carey from Tool, all of the drummers, obviously, because the Foo Fighters knows about the speculation as to who is going to become the drummer in the Foo Fighters. And finally, the camera went behind the drums. Legendary rock drummer Josh Freese had a "Hi, my name is Josh" sticker as he sat behind the drums. He has literally played for everybody from Guns N' Roses to A Perfect Circle. Josh Freese is credited with over 400 album performances, and he is now the drummer of the Foo Fighters. However, the new Foo Fighters album, But Here We Are, which is coming out on June 2nd, Dave Grohl actually played drums on the entire album, kind of the way that he did off of the first Foo Fighters record before he actually put the band together, when the Foo Fighters was just a one-man band, kind of like Mammoth WVH. That's what Wolfgang Van Halen did, and then he kind of had to hire a band because he wanted to go out on tour because he got a record deal. So Wednesday, down, high five, sit, paw, other, no, sit, other paw, no, sit, other paw. Thank you. That's it. That's all the cookies there is. If you're new to the War Room, that's all the tricks that Wednesday knows as well. Travis, what's going on? I hope he did well. Take it from me. Do the PT. All right, you guys are talking about some kind of injury. Travis, the PT, all right here. Hoping to get out on the motorcycle and to get back up in the sky skydiving this summer. So, but PT 100% absolutely works. Mark says the Foo's live stream was awesome. I thought it was great too. It kind of showed the Foo Fighters in their natural environment, in their practice space, kind of joking around, commiserating about old memories, and also working through some of the song parts that they are going to be playing live. And I really hope they bust out that Huey Lewis and the News cover that they touched on in the live stream. By the way, it's still free on Veeps. It's up for 72 hours. And all you have to do is just sign up for Veeps with an email address and a password, and you can watch the Foo Fighters stream for free right now, I think until tomorrow. Brett says, I watched the Muppet Mayhem. Not bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad. You guys know I'm a diehard Muppet fan, so anything that's Muppet-centric, I am all about it. Bish says, Carrie, did you see Andy made news for the bike run? Yeah, so I want to congratulate Andy Biggio, who is the author of the book, The Rifle, that we had on the podcast. He was on live from the American Legion a few weeks ago. He's got a new book coming out called The Rifle 2 this fall. He was also the founder of the Boston Wounded Vet Run, and they just had their 13th Wounded Vet Run and the last Wounded Vet Run. And they were actually able to raise money for 5 of our wounded troops that were hurt in the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And Andy Biggio, he's literally raised like millions of dollars for veterans over the last 13 years, all over the news. He did a fantastic job. And he said now he is going to enjoy being a family man and also getting ready to release his second book, The Rifle 2. If you haven't picked up The Rifle, the original book about all the stories from World War II in the M1 Garand, you definitely got to pick it up. It is fantastic. What's up, Bonnie Joan? How are you? Travis says, doing great. Looking forward to motorcycle time as well. Keith says, Wednesday wants belly rubs. They looked like they were finally relaxed, says Bish, talking about the Foo Fighters. Carrie, did you hear anything about the Taylor Swift concert? So I've heard a lot. I heard that there's a girl that's really upset because she got puked on at Gillette Stadium. She was at the show by herself. Somebody puked on her, and she was upset that like people weren't running to help her. She was, I guess, running around. She couldn't find napkins. She was freaking out, but she got puked on. Taylor Swift selling out 3 nights at Gillette Stadium, and the second night was in the pouring rain. her piano short circuited because of the downpour. I also heard that somebody gave birth in the parking lot of Gillette Stadium. Hey, you're being very naughty. No, there's no more cookies. They're all gone. No, they're all gone. There's no more. She got a manicure today. She's been full of piss and vinegar ever since, because I don't know if anybody has ever tried to do the impossible, but cutting a pug's nails, it's like right up there. She wanted nothing to do with it, and she has been pissed and belligerent ever since. So I heard that somebody gave birth in the parking lot at the Taylor Swift concert, over one of the three of them, which shows you the difference in Taylor Swift concerts versus rock concerts. At Taylor Swift concerts, they give birth. At rock concerts, they conceive. So there you go. Somebody enjoying Not So Swift. Yeah, exactly. War Room Book Club needs to happen. We have been talking about that, actually. And it is something that I have definitely wanted to do, although I'm not willing to do it weekly. We might do it monthly, because I can't be held responsible to read a book once a week. There's just too much going on with the radio shows and all of that. But Bish, I definitely love the idea of doing a War Room Book Club for sure. Maybe we'll launch that later this year. Okay, so I want to say hello to some new friends of the show that are fellow skydivers. So we want to say what's up to CK and Tom out at the ranch, the Drop Zone in New York. Tom is actually on staff for the West Point parachute team, otherwise known as the Black Knights. And I made some new friends at West Point recently, and they sent a gift. So first of all, I want to say what's up to all of the members of the West Point parachute team, the Black Knights. You've heard of the Army parachute team, the Golden Knights. Well, they are based off of the West Point parachute team, the Black Knights. And they sent me a little gift. Now, if you are new to the War Room, you might not know that I have a love affair with sangria. We actually have an in-house sangria specialist, Fernandez, who I met in Afghanistan in 2011, who throughout the course of the pandemic was dropping off pictures of homemade sangria. Well, my friends from the West Point parachute team sent me a little sangria. It's called Free Fall Sangria, which I thought was really cool. You can go to freefallsangria.com. Originally starting out as Drop Zone Sangria, and now it's a thing. And it comes bottled. You can go to freefallsangria.com. So they sent me a bottle. They sent me with very specific instructions to chill it, serve it over ice after I shook it really well. So I wanted to show everybody at Free Fall Sangria that I jazzed up their sangria a little bit. So first of all, the mug with the bullet in it. Second of all, a little, because you guys know how much we like to garnish our cocktails here in the War Room. So I did a little fresh fruit garnish. So cheers to you guys. Cheers, everybody. Oh, that's good. It almost tastes like it's got, it's like a very clean, refreshing finish, almost as if it's got mint in it or something. Hold on, let me read the ingredients. I want to see what's going on in here. It says bold, unique, and not so sweet. Started off at a skydiving center near the base of the Gunks in upstate New York. Served on the back deck at sunset, a Drop Zone favorite, a distinct blend of wine blasted with fruit creates a premium, well-balanced celebration, embracing the spirit of the adventurous, made for people who know what they want. Shawanga. So that's what it says there on the back. Dare to drink different, it says. And there are the very specific instructions to shake and serve over ice and refrigerate after opening. Who's not finishing the bottle once it opens? I'm just asking. You're skydivers. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Let's see. It has... Where's the list of ingredients? I can't even find it. All I'm seeing is a government warning. I don't need to be warned. I know alcohol's delicious. So cheers to you guys. And what's up to everybody on the West Point parachute team, the Black Knights. Bish says booze and parachutes never mix. No, you can drink after you skydive for the day. When you're done jumping for the day, sunset, they turn the beer light on at the drop zone, and you are more than welcome to have a cocktail afterwards. Tracy says the Gunks have the best rock climbing, but our sangria goes to 11, says Mickey. Yeah, it is really good. So booze and skydiving should be an Olympic sport. I 100% agree with that, actually. First time war room, says Michael, but long time from Carrie's Dungeon. Please send Hacksaw. Please send Hacksaw a beer. Looks like the vet run made over $200,000. That's what I'm telling you. Like, Andy Biggio and the Boston Wounded Vet Run has raised millions of dollars for our veterans over the last 13 years. I was more than honored to sponsor some of those runs, and I've ridden in some of those runs. Just absolutely amazing. Smoke a joint and skydive. Tom, that is not allowed either. Come on now. Skydiving is dangerous enough. We don't need to be doing drugs in skydiving. You skydive, then do drugs. Only in states where it's legal, by the way. Jessica says, give Wednesday belly rubs for me. I absolutely will do that. So definitely want to thank everybody at Free Falls Sangria. It's delicious. All right. Let's see. All right. We got a lot to talk about. Wednesday obviously was here already. Last week, we were broadcasting live from Polar Park in Worcester at the Woo Sox game. Got to meet Red Sox legend Tom Flash Gordon at Polar Park. He is the only pitcher in Major League Baseball to have over 100 wins, over 100 saves, over 100 holds. And he came on the show with me on Thursday. And I want to say thank you to everybody at the Woo Sox organization, Dr. Charles and everybody. They made me a custom Mistress Carrie jersey from the Pike, which is awesome. So definitely going to be spending a lot of time at Polar Park this year, which, by the way, was just voted the best AAA ballpark in the United States. So congratulations to the Woo Sox. Also want to make sure we're getting in the plugs for all of the radio events from the different radio stations I'm on. Rockfest is coming up September 9th at Indian Ranch with the Pike. You can get the details, by the way, on all of the events on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. The Pike has also got the 19th birthday party coming up at Indian Ranch. That is September 2nd. And the musical guest helping us celebrate our birthday at the Pike is George Thorogood. And coming up the quickest, August 19th, Hairfest is going to be at Indian Ranch with this year's headliners, the Metallica tribute band, the Four Horsemen. And also up in the Portland, Maine area, if you listen to my show On the Bone, they have got the summer concert streak, which is a bunch of different concerts all summer long. Added to that, Bad Flower with Des Rocks and Tiger Cub at Aura on June 3rd. So if you are joining me up in Maine here in the War Room and you're a listener of my show On the Bone, Wednesday, I'm going to be up in Portland on June 3rd at the Bad Flower show at Aura. So make sure you come and say hello. And yes, if you are new and didn't realize that I had expanded my empire, not only can you hear me every afternoon on 100 FM The Pike in Worcester, Massachusetts, not only can you hear me on all of the Westwood One, Rock 2.0, and CRX stations, and on AFN around the world, the Armed Forces Network, but also, you can hear me on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine, and you can download the Bone app. You can listen 1063rocks.com or 1063thebone.com, and you can stream the show as well. So we want to welcome everybody that is joining us from Portland, Maine. If you're new to the War Room, we always like to do a cocktail recipe every week. I have a lot. Sorry, I have a hair itching my face. We have a lot of cocktail recipe books here in the bar in the War Room. What is up with this hair? It's driving me crazy. It's tickling my nose while I'm talking to you guys. I feel like Steve Martin and the Jerk, like focusing on the hair on my nose. So we have a lot of cocktail recipe books here in the War Room, and we are always trying to up your cocktail game. We're going into Memorial Day weekend, and so I thought I would share another recipe from our friends at Regimental Whiskey, who joined us recently at the American Legion. And this is a veteran-owned company, and I will put up the QR code so that you can open their website, or you can follow them on social media at RSC Whiskey. And one of the founders of Regimental Spirits, I was actually with in Afghanistan. And so it's amazing to see one of my guys doing so well. So with Memorial Day coming up, I wanted to give you another drink recipe. This one definitely with a Boston touch. This is called the RSC Old Ironsides, which is based off of the oldest commissioned warship in the United States Navy, the USS Constitution, which is still docked in Boston and still active and will be sailing around on the 4th of July. So this one is called the RSC Old Ironsides. The ingredients: 2 ounces of regimental Kentucky bourbon, 3 dashes of Angostura bitters, a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of water, and 1 orange twist. And it says, add sugar and bitters to a rocks glass, then add the water and stir until the sugar is nearly dissolved. Then fill the glass with large ice cubes, add the bourbon, and gently stir to combine. You can express the oil of an orange twist over the glass and then drop it into the glass to garnish. You guys know how much I enjoy garnishing cocktails. So not only can you do the twist, there's a little picture of the cocktail with the twist in there, but I think maybe a little bit of an orange sugar rim, maybe, or an orange wedge if you want a little bit more of a garnish of some kind. As you guys can tell, I like to garnish my cocktails, even with bullets. So, Jonathan says, it's tickling. Sean says, how are you? Tons of love. What's up, Mr. Fitz? Obviously, before we go any further on the show, we're talking about Memorial Day weekend. Yes, it's the unofficial start of summer for a lot of people in New England. Yes, it's a long holiday weekend. But Richard Fitz, who always joins us, a longtime member of the War Room family, a proud Gold Star son, and his dad was a Green Beret in Vietnam. And obviously, Memorial Day, there are a lot of our veterans that don't really celebrate Memorial Day at barbecues because they are missing their brothers and sisters in arms. And that is what Memorial Day is all about. I go over this every year. We just had Armed Forces Day last week. Armed Forces Day celebrates those currently serving. Veterans Day in November celebrates those that have served. Memorial Day weekend is not to thank veterans. Memorial Day weekend is not to thank members of our armed forces for their service. Memorial Day weekend is to commemorate the ultimate sacrifice, the ultimate price that has been paid by those in uniform that never came home. And so Memorial Day weekend can be a really somber time for a lot of our military and veterans. And the best thing to do is to talk about those loved ones, those brothers and sisters in arms, and to be able to keep their memories alive. So that is what Memorial Day weekend is about. And I always, the show before Memorial Day weekend, want to make sure that I am explaining and differentiating. I think a lot of people think Memorial Day weekend, they just want to thank a veteran, which is always wonderful to thank our veterans, but to really make sure that we're paying attention to the people that Memorial Day weekend is really supposed to be about. So Travis says 100%. Ash says never forget those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Exactly. I support the troops here at home and away, says Sean. And it's definitely Wednesday. If you are in and around the greater Boston area, go into the Boston Common. They always put up this really striking memorial where they put up a flag in the grass of every person that has been killed in uniform in service to the United States from Massachusetts. And it's over 34,000 flags. It is an awe-inspiring memorial. And if you haven't seen it, it's being installed this week and will be in Boston for Memorial Day weekend. Let's see. So we did our cocktail recipe. Let's talk about last week's episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast, which was a huge episode for me because 83-year-old Ian Hunter from Mott the Hoople is a rock and roll legend. Releasing recently his new album, Defiance Part 1. You know what a legend he is based on the cameo appearances on his album. Slash and Duff from Guns N' Roses, the DeLeo brothers, Ringo Starr from the Beatles. There are so many appearances on this record. Taylor Hawkins, the late great Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters, the late great Jeff Beck, all appearing on Ian Hunter's album. I had no idea that Ian Hunter was a resident of Connecticut, which was really surprising to me. But I loved his stories. It kind of made my heart skip a beat when he told me that I was fun, that I was good at my job. And when he called me love at the end of the interview, I was like, oh, because as much as I love talking about newer bands, which we're going to do a lot of this week, I love the fact that the podcast brings in these members of rock and roll royalty as well. Everyone from Ann and Nancy Wilson from Heart, Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick. There are so many amazing, Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath, who have all been on the show. The aforementioned Slash, the DeLeo brothers from Stone Temple Pilots, who have all been on the show. But to bring in somebody like Ian Hunter to talk about his upbringing, his inspiration, what he thinks about some of the newer music that's out there. He said he was a fan of Queens of the Stone Age, which was fantastic. If you haven't listened to his album, Defiance Part 1, Part 2, he said, is coming out this fall or this winter, but I absolutely loved having Ian Hunter on the show. So if you missed it, episode 154 of the Mistress Carrie podcast is available now, and you definitely want to check it out. And don't forget, every episode of the podcast, if you go in the show notes, no matter how you listen to the podcast, whether you're listening off of mistresscarrie.com, whether you're listening off of YouTube, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, there are always show note links. And one of the links that's there is the corresponding playlist for every episode featuring my guest music and all of the artists and the songs that we talked about in the episode, and all of the tracks from Defiance Part 1, Ian Hunter's new solo album, are in the playlist for episode 154. So if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely go and give it a listen. Episode 155, which goes live at midnight tonight. New episodes go live every Wednesday, by the way. Really excited because when you talk about newer bands, I know they're not a new band, but when you talk about newer bands that are taking rock to the next level, to the next generation, this is one of my favorite bands that's come out in the last 10 years. They were one of the last live acoustic performances in the old WAF studio before WAF went off the air in 2020. And they're getting ready to release a new album coming up on June 2nd called Dark Fighter. Super excited. Episode 155 of the Mistress Carrie podcast features Jay Buchanan from Rival Sons. And if you have not seen Rival Sons live, they are coming to the Palladium in Worcester on May 31st, and then they're going to be opening up at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion, I think, for the Smashing Pumpkins later this year. They are also going to be playing the State Theater up in Maine as well. All of the dates for all of their New England plays are up on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But Jay Buchanan from Rival Sons, first of all, his voice is amazing. Second of all, the band, they're very retro in their approach to rock and roll, but they are definitely new. They're not copying anyone. They're not doing anything that has been done before. But Rival Sons are a band that if you got the 1.21 gigawatts and went back to the 70s, Rival Sons would sound at home in the 70s, but they sound just as at home in 2023. And so I talked to Jay Buchanan about the new album, Dark Fighter. He was actually driving around while we were talking. He had to pull over for the interview because he was running errands before he had to get on the tour bus and go out on the road. So he was picking up dry cleaning. He was like getting snacks for the bus. And I caught him while he was running all of his errands. Jay Buchanan, if you remember the wild card Pats game against the Tennessee Titans in January of 2020, Jay Buchanan sang the national anthem at Gillette Stadium. We talked all about it in this week's episode. We also talked about his musical upbringing. We talked about his take on songwriting. We talked about his hopes for the future of rock and roll and a lot of the singer-songwriter and blues artists that really shaped his outlook on music and what he brings to Rival Sons. So if you have not heard of Rival Sons, definitely give this episode a listen. You also definitely want to check out the corresponding playlist for this week's episode as well, because the new album, Dark Fighter, they've released a handful of songs already, but it comes out on June 3rd or June 2nd, excuse me, and it is going to be awesome. Jessica says that Chris Cornell has been gone 6 years. Yeah, I know. Over the weekend, I could not believe that it's been 6 years since Chris Cornell passed away. That I still have a hard time believing that 2017 was 6 years ago, because time is going by so fast. But the idea that that the world has been without Chris Cornell for 6 years kind of doesn't make any sense to me. But I did see that kind of sad milestone go by. I am still looking forward. You'll remember back in April that the Soundgarden camp announced a new partnership with Chris Cornell's estate and his widow, Vicky Cornell, because Chris had been working on 7 songs with Soundgarden before his death, and they have worked out an agreement now where those songs are going to get released. They just haven't said when yet. So I am anxiously awaiting that. I'm hoping they come out by the end of this year or early next year, because it always kind of seems that induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame kind of gets synced up with things. And I'm hoping that Soundgarden is going to get in next year. They should have gotten in this year, but I'm really hoping that they, alongside Iron fucking Maiden, get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame next year. So speaking of awards, Jay Buchanan talked about getting introduced to Gillette Stadium as 2-time Grammy nominee, which was the first time that had been said out loud, and it kind of stopped him in his tracks. And we were hoping that the next time he gets asked to sing at Gillette Stadium, that maybe he'll be a Grammy Award winner, which would be fantastic. So, Mark, that was Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot? I didn't even realize that. The wild card game against the Titans in January of 2020, Tom Brady's last game, and the game that Jay Buchanan sang the national anthem at. I need a drink. Hold on. I don't like thinking about Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot. Mickey, up the irons. Absolutely. A side note to Tom Brady. Did you guys hear? He is about to become a minority owner in the Las Vegas Raiders. That the owner of the Raiders, Mark Davis, reached an agreement with Tom Brady to become only the 3rd NFL player in history to become an NFL owner. It still needs to be approved by the NFL, but that kind of puts the final nail in the coffin. I always thought that Tom Brady was going to come back and help run the Patriots organization, with as beloved as he is by the Kraft family. But obviously, if he's going to be a part owner in the Raiders, that's not going to happen. Tom Brady is going to be at Gillette Stadium for the home opener of the Pats this year to be welcomed back and celebrated by Patriots Nation. But Marcy says Brady is supposedly coming back. He's coming back for the home opener to be celebrated, but that's it. Brett, we also need to talk about the passing of Rick Hoyt. So if you are outside of New England, or you're maybe not a runner, Jay Buchanan and I, by the way, from Rival Sons, talked a little bit about the Boston Marathon because he is a runner himself. But you may or may not know about Team Hoyt. Dick Hoyt and Rick Hoyt, father and son team, ran in 32 Boston marathons with Dick Hoyt pushing his son, Rick Hoyt. And it really opened up the conversation about opening up marathons to those with special needs. And I don't know about you guys, but being on the sidelines of the Boston Marathon all of those years, broadcasting live from the finish, I always got a lump in my throat when I saw Dick Hoyt pushing Rick Hoyt down Boylston Street to cross the finish line. I've run the Boston Marathon in 2019. I talked about it recently on the episode with John Connolly from Seven Dust because he ran it this year. It's incredibly difficult. I can't imagine how hard it is to push a full-size adult man for the entire 26.2 miles. There have been documentaries about Team Hoyt. Dick Hoyt died a few years ago, and Rick Hoyt died yesterday at the age of 61. And there are statements that came out from all of the Boston sports teams. I retweeted them all on my Twitter at Mistress Carrie. Team Hoyt will continue on with different pairings of runners, and it is part of the legacy of the Hoyt family. But there's a little hole in Boston. First when Dick Hoyt died, and now when Rick Hoyt died. And yeah, I saw that news yesterday, and it really, I mean, but you got to think about it this way. I think if Rick Hoyt were born in maybe another region of the country or in another country, he would not have lived with all of his physical disabilities to the age of 61. He graduated, I believe, from Boston University. Just a spectacular, well life lived. And so to Team Hoyt and somebody, I'm going to get teary-eyed quoting it, but someone tweeted yesterday that they had an image that Rick Hoyt was finally able to run himself. And when I read that, it kind of took me back because he was such a fixture at the Boston Marathon, being pushed by his dad. And yeah, to the Hoyts. Oof. That one snuck up on me there. Oof. Well, you guys know from time to time the tears are coming out, that's for sure. But I just read that tweet in passing, and it just got me. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, so, okay. Mickey Rossi says incredible respect for him. Eric says, Carrie, let the tears flow. Rick was a great man. Walter says it definitely grabs your soul for sure. Marcy says, I thought I was alone. No, it just, people that aren't from the New England area, people don't understand what Marathon Monday means to the region. If you're a runner, you know that Marathon Monday, the Boston Marathon, is such a big deal, but that you don't really understand the way that New England kind of wraps its arms around the marathon. The people that come to Boston to run it, the stories of people like the Hoyts overcoming obstacles, which is why the bombing was so tragic, because it wasn't just a race. The Boston Marathon, it's disrespectful to just talk about it as if it's just another marathon, because it's so much more than that. Jessica said it's okay to cry. Annette says his brother said that yesterday on Fox 25. Maybe somebody was quoting his brother when I saw the tweet on Twitter yesterday, but it just got me in the feels yesterday. Jane says, or maybe Rick is pushing his dad now. Well, if Dick Hoyt is young and healthy again, wherever it is that we go when we die, I sincerely doubt he would be okay being pushed around. But Mark says, I ran 5 miles in Rick's honor yesterday. Keep chugging away at those miles, Bish. keep chugging away. You're going to be running that marathon before you know it. All right. So I told you guys about who's on the podcast this week, which is Jay Buchanan from Rival Sons. When you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, not only do you get the full episodes every Wednesday, but you also get the sit rep, which is rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates, all the headlines, everything you need to know in about 5 minutes. And you get that first thing every morning, Monday through Friday. So subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, and you can find it everywhere. All the big ones, obviously, Apple, Google, Spotify, Odyssey, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer. You can get it at Pandora. You can listen to the episodes now on YouTube. And as always, you can just go to mistresscarrie.com, click play on whatever episode you want to listen to, and you can listen to the podcast. I made it super easy for you. So check out the sit rep if you haven't. You never know, we're going to release bonus episodes as well. And right now, the Mistress Carrie podcast holding strong at 149 countries. So we want to say what's up to everybody across the U.S. that joins us here in the War Room, but also say hello to everybody around the world that is listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast every week. And if you're celebrating your birthday today on May 23rd, happy birthday. You share your birthday with Philip James Selway from Radiohead, also Tiki Fullwood from Parliament Funkadelic, Robert Moog, who invented the synthesizer, was born on this day, as was Rosemary Clooney. So if today's your birthday, cheers to you. Happy birthday. Happy unbirthday, Keith. One of the inside jokes, if you're new to the War Room, you might not get unless you read the dictionary that's in my blog at mistresscarrie.com. Walter says massholes are unique. Yeah, we absolutely are. 100%. All right. We got some music headlines we got to talk about. Some of them we already talked about, but the new Stained album is coming out in September called Confessions of the Fallen. The Foo Fighters album coming out the same day as Rival Sons, the same day as Jelly Roll, the same day as the new Buckcherry, the same day as Avenged Sevenfold. The Foo Fighters album, but here we are, is coming out June 2nd. The free live stream is still available on Veeps. And congratulations to fantastic, legendary rock drummer John Freese, who is now the drummer of the Foo Fighters, making his debut live with the Foos at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion in Guilford, New Hampshire tomorrow. Candlebox out on the road with Three Doors Down this year, celebrating the 30th anniversary of their debut album. And they have got an unplugged album called Live at the Neptune that was recorded with all four original members of the band. That's going to be coming out on June 23rd. The Dropkick Murphys announced their tour. They're going to be playing in Maine, in New Hampshire, and down at Mohegan Sun. Those tickets went on sale this past Friday. All of the New England dates for the Dropkick Murphys are up on the concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Boston Calling is this weekend. Speaking of the Foo Fighters, taking over the Harvard Athletic Complex Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Foo Fighters and Yeah Yeah Yeahs headlining night number 1. The Lumineers and Alanis Morissette headlining night number 2. Paramore and the aforementioned Queens of the Stone Age, who are getting ready to release a new album themselves called In Times New Roman. That's coming out this summer. Queens of the Stone Age, one of the headliners of night number 3 of Boston Calling. And good luck getting tickets, especially for night number 1. Shows coming to the area include Big Night Live. That's down at the TD Garden. The Sisters of Mercy, that is coming up on May 31st. And Tarja is coming up on June 18th. By the way, any of these shows that we're talking about, regardless of venue, they're all up on the concert calendar. The Xfinity Center has got everybody from Dave Matthews and Avenged Sevenfold to Bret Michaels' Party Gras, Godsmack and Stained, the Mudvayne Tour with Cold Chamber, Nonpoint, Guar, and the Butcher Babies. That's July 30th. Jelly Roll is going to be there on the Backyard Baptism Tour on August 4th, but Jelly Roll also playing in Connecticut. He's playing at the Bank of New Hampshire Pavilion, and he's also playing at the Maine Savings Amphitheater as well. Jelly Roll is going to be everywhere. He's going to be at the Xfinity August 4th. Foreigner and Lover Boy, August 5th. Disturbed with Breaking Benjamin and Ginger on August 18th. Ghost and Amon Amarth, that is August 19th. The Nickelback Get Rollin' Tour is coming up August 22nd. The Offspring on September 3rd. Shinedown, Papa Roach, and Spirit Box, that is September 23rd. Tickets are available for all of those shows. Links in the concert calendar. Queen and Adam Lambert, 2 shows coming to the TD Garden October 15th and 16th. The 15th is sold out. Tickets still available for the 16th. And Avatar is at the Paradise tomorrow night in Boston. You heard Johannes Eckerstrom from Avatar on the podcast recently, and they are out in support of their latest album, Dance Devil Dance. The Hollywood Vampires are going to be at the Box Center Wang Theater coming up on May 31st. Godsmack sold out the Mohegan Sun Arena on May 28th. And of course, we were just talking about them going to the Xfinity Center later this year. Aerosmith at the TD Garden coming up on New Year's Eve with the Black Crowes, the Peace Out Farewell Tour. Those tickets are on sale now. Extreme and Living Color are going to be at Roadrunner on August 5th. They are also going to be up in Maine. Their show at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom is sold out, but all of those shows up on the calendar. Aaron Lewis is going to be at Foxwoods April 22nd. Then, of course, he's going out with Stained and getting ready to release the new Stained album. And Greta Van Fleet are going to be at the TD Garden coming up September 15th. Their new album, Starcatcher, is coming out in July. And shows coming to the Palladium include The Rival Sons. Jay Buchanan, my guest this week on the Mistress Carrie podcast. They're going to be at the Palladium next Wednesday night. If you haven't seen them yet, go to the show. Weezer is going to be at the Palladium outdoors on July 1st. Sleep Token sold out the Palladium in like 5 seconds. That show is coming up September 12th. Parkway Drive is going to be at the Palladium outdoors on September 15th. And the MGM Music Hall at Fenway has got everybody from the Pixies, Les Claypool, Yellowcard, Noel Gallagher, Newfound Glory, Mastodon, and Gojira for 2 shows. Night number 1 is sold out. Night number 2 still has tickets. Beck is going to be there September 5th. And this one just got announced, actually. Billy Idol is going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on September 9th. Those tickets go on sale this Thursday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. And also Motionless in White, that show just in time for Halloween on October 29th. And those tickets are on sale now as well. House of Blues in Boston has also got Thrice coming on June 2nd. The Struts on July 18th. Corey fucking Taylor is going to be rolling into town just 2 days before his new album, CMF2, comes out on September 15th. Those tickets went on sale this past Friday, May 19th, and they are on sale now. Tickets are still available. Details on the concert calendar for that one as well. New releases coming out this Friday. Joe Perry's new album, Switzerland Manifesto, is coming out. That features a ton of cameo appearances, guest appearances from Gary Cherone from Extreme. Robin Zander from Cheap Trick is on there. I believe Robert DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots making an appearance. So Joe Perry from Aerosmith pulling out all the stops with his, and Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes too, appearing on Joe Perry's upcoming solo album. Matchbox 20 releasing Where the Light Fades. Metal Church releasing Congregation of Annihilation. Tame Impala releasing Lunarism, the 10-year anniversary box set. All of this is coming out this coming Friday. New releases come out every Friday, which is why June 2nd is going to be such a busy day. Mail call this week. No mail in the mail call this week. But once again, I will thank everybody at Freefall Sangria for the little gift. And also want to thank everybody at the West Point Parachute Team, the Black Knights. They sent me a bunch of stickers, which are now plastered all over MCHQ. So that's the address for mail call if you need it. And if you go to mistresscarrie.com, go to the shop. The newest thing besides the Mistress Carrie guitar picks are the Slate Cocktails in the War Room coasters that are veteran made. I will tell you, there's literally a half a dozen of these left. They are selling really, really fast. which is fantastic because we are the company's first order. So the fact that these are selling really well, they are laser etched with the Cocktails in the War Room artwork on one side, and there are little felt rubber feet on the back to keep the slate from hurting whatever surface you're trying to protect by having a freaking coaster in the first place. So if you want to get Cocktails in the War Room coasters, you can get them in the shop at mistresscarrie.com. And these are made in Massachusetts, and they are veteran made as well. So definitely check those out. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I floated the idea. Normally, we do our exclusive live streams for the fan club on the last Sunday night of the month. But I don't want to do the live stream smack dab in the middle of Memorial Day weekend. So I floated the idea around about doing the Backstage Pass holder exclusive live stream coming up Thursday night at 7:30. So there you go. If you got a Backstage Pass, you have been warned. If you get a Backstage Pass on Patreon, you can also submit podcast interview questions because you find out who the guests are going to be before everybody else. You get travel blog updates when the show hits the road, early access to event tickets, and you also find out when events are getting announced before anybody else. You also get discount codes on new merchandise and exclusive concert ticket giveaways. And I will tell you, right now you have access to tickets to see Tarja at Big Night Live. And coming up after Memorial Day weekend, there are a lot of shows that are going to be available to Backstage Pass holders. So if you do not have a Backstage Pass, go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie, or you can just click the Patreon button at mistresscarrie.com. And finally, a reminder of all of the places that you can find me online: my official Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, and of course the Patreon we were just talking about. Also, if you want to listen to my shows on 100 FM The Pike here in Massachusetts, you can download the Pike app. Just go to pikefm.com. And if you want to listen to my show on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine, you can download the Bone app. Go to 1063thebone.com and download the Bone app, and then you can listen to the Mistress Carrie show wherever you are. You can also get access to the Mistress Carrie podcast and all of that stuff if you download the apps as well. So there you go. Wait. Brianna, today's your birthday? How did I miss that? Today's Brianna's birthday. OG War Room member, fellow purple-haired freak, Brianna, is your birthday today? Guys, join me in a little toast. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brianna. Happy birthday to you. That's why I'm on the radio and not a singer. You heard it right here. Cheers to you, Brianna. You are an absolute freaking rock star. Happy birthday. How did I miss that? Freaking free fall sangria. Happy birthday, Brianna. Absolute badass. That is awesome. Brianna says, love you all, guys. Happy birthday, Bree, says Richard Fitz. Love it. The fact that she's spending her birthday with all of us, pretty badass. Although it does kind of suck when your birthday falls on a Tuesday, unless we can say happy birthday to you in person. So Marcy says, cheers. Mickey says, happy birthday, Brianna. Jessica says, it's okay. You are forgiven for my horrible singing voice. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, guys. So that's it. Episode 233 of Cocktails in the War Room is in the books. We want to thank our longtime sponsor, Latini Creative Solutions. You can find them online at latinicreative.com. If you need to rebrand your company, if you're looking for logos, artwork, any of that stuff, they have worked on all of the Mistress Carrie artwork since the launch of my company, Bigfoot First Productions. They designed the artwork for Cocktails in the War Room. the artwork for the Mistress Carrie podcast and so on. So we definitely want to thank them for their continued support. And I will meet you guys back here next Tuesday night. A couple things. Fingers crossed that the Celtics aren't going to get eliminated tonight. Please, 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 please put up a fight, guys. Please. Also, Memorial Day weekend is coming up. I have a lot of friends that are Gold Star family members. And so I want to say hello and just want to send love out to the Fitz family, to the Horton family, my friend Jane Horton. I want to say hello to the members of the Grace family. Sergeant Ed Grace, I met him in Afghanistan back in 2011. So just to make sure that you're commemorating Memorial Day in some way, shape, or form this weekend. The weather looks like it's actually going to cooperate, which is fantastic. And one final thing, I also want to make sure you guys are aware that May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. And it's something that comes up all the time here in the War Room. I think we have all said at one point or another, all of these get-togethers that we do here in the War Room have helped all of us navigate a lot of uncertainty and a lot of uncertain times during the pandemic, during the ups and downs politically, financially, with the way that the economy has been. And so I just want to make sure that we are saying to anybody out there that the War Room welcomes you no matter who you are. And if you are struggling, there is no shame in asking for help. We have all had to do it at one point or another in our lives. And that's what makes this War Room family so special, is that you guys have always been there for each other and continue to be there for each other. So make sure that you are checking in on your battle buddies. Make sure that you are just reaching out to friends just to say hello for no reason. Try to get together and spend time with your loved ones over Memorial Day weekend, because our fallen, that's what they'd be doing if they were here, is they would be doing all of the things that we all love to do, get together with our loved ones, and just live your life. So definitely reach out to somebody that you think may be struggling, and just, even just a quick text to say, hey, how you doing? I was thinking about you. So Donna says the family is always here for anybody who needs it. Mark says, as a person who deals with depression, you are not alone, y'all. And Michael Cole, do your job, Celtics. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, I will see you guys next week. Have a fantastic long holiday weekend. Backstage pass holders, I will see you guys coming up Thursday night at 7:30. And if you want to get in on the exclusive Backstage Pass holder live stream, you got to get yourself a Backstage Pass. All right, guys, see you later. Don't forget, episode 155 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight. Episode 155 featuring Jay Buchanan from Rival Sons. Wednesday, say goodnight. You want to come here and say goodnight? Come here. Come over here. No. She says no. Good night, guys. When?